All right, man. Goodness gracious, bro. Oh, yeah, this coffee is way too strong, though, for real, though.
Bro?
Yeah. But you know what? That's how I like them. I like my coffee strong, just like I like my woman.
Hey, strong and bold, baby.
Hey.
And Doc, let's get it.
Hey.
So we rolling today. What's on the menu, young Jabril?
I mean, I'm full, so I don't know what you're talking about.
And Jabril.
Jabril and Muhammad. Yo, I don't see how the most annoying thing,
foreigner listeners, though.
Bro, the most annoying thing is when your name is spelled out and then people like text you or whatever and they spell your name wrong.
Hey, man, just... they say the devil is in the details, but they ain't checking the details, bro.
Yeah, bro. What? I'm not mad. I'm not even annoyed. I'm peeved. I'm peeved. You feel me? That's a big word for some of you guys out there. Look it up. I'm not gonna lie. When I learned that word, bro, I use it with everything.
I know, right? It actually makes a big difference. Like, oh my goodness, I'm peeved.
Yo, you know what? We underestimate the importance of studying vocabulary.
What?
For I want to say for about 3 weeks, every night I would go to a page of the dictionary and I would find like 10 new words. I would just like flip through dictionary, find a word. I'd be like, ooh, I don't know that word. Boom, write it down. And I did it for like, I say 3 weeks. I'm welling. I probably did it for like a week and a half.
I'm welling.
I mean, I was on a diction high because I was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Yes. And
how he, kind of like read through the dictionary. And I've actually heard of a lot of, brothers doing that while they're in prison. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily Muslim, but just like, you had nothing else to do except kill time and learn new words and stuff. So
just invest in yourself.
That's why you see like on like the spoof shows, kind of like in Living Color. Yeah. They're like, my brother. And then they have like the big words, using big words, and like they're talking real intellectual, but then they do some like real hood stuff. You feel me? So it's like, yeah, man. When you have time, man, you take that time to upgrade your diction and your vocabulary.
I mean, it makes a big difference because especially when you're doing stuff, whether it's just a podcast, just YouTube, and any other outlets, like. It's good to not only know what you're talking about, but it's good to kind of use like various words for the same type of feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, depending on what room you in, because there's a difference. Like there's Ibans, we've talked about before. There's there's the language you have with your homies, language you have with your girl. You got shout it, come on, man. Why are you tripping on me? And then there's a conversation you have with the white people. So, like, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. No, it's not just white people. It's kind of just the funny inside jokes that we have. But it's like, when you're in a professional setting, how do you talk with people? Mm-hmm. But it is funny though. I've been in professional settings and like you're real professional. But even with like, when you see it like another brother, it's like, yo, y'all can break that level of professionalism and it still be okay. You like, yo, what's good, bro? How you doing? How you feeling?
We got one coworker. His name is Rio. He would come in like he's fresh. I'm saying like wipe him down. You know what I'm saying, from head to toe.
I ain't wiping nobody down. I don't know what you're talking about. What you talking about?
I'm taking it back to the.
I'm sorry, podcast listeners. Like, we keeping this PG. My man's over here tripping.
What you mean, bro? Wipe him down, bro. Like, he's looking clean. But anyway, he would come in. He'd be like, hey, John, how you doing, man? Hey, just shaking my head like, what's good, Mo?
Hey, yo.
Hey, what's good, Rio? Throw up the hands like, hey. Come and give us dap. So that kind of, humbles us.
Nah,
it brings us together.
Yeah, it reminds me of the one skit from Key and Peele where he was Obama.
I love that.
Hello. Oh, afternoon, my afternoon.
I remember that joke.
Oh, you talk. Yeah, bro, that is my freaking show, man. He was like, I want another one. Oh,
you think we have like our own dialect, kind of like with our parents and our fam?
The dialect in my family is all laughing. Like we can, like me and my sister, we can literally be laughing and we give each other the look and we just start dying even more. Or like my mom, like, bro, we were probably one of the weirdest families ever, man.
But you have a good relationship with your parents, though.
I got a good relationship with all my, everybody in my family, even like my aunts, my uncles, everybody. It's because like your relationship is based off of the history and things that have gone on.
Yes.
So like even like family that's married in, like my uncle Michael, he married in, I think I was like 12, 13, something like that, 14. But like the relationship him and I have is that he just tries to feed me pork every time we're at a cookout. And I like at first, it was like, 13, like, bruh, like, dog, this ain't funny no more. But like the older I get, it's like now I play along with it and it's hilarious, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, passing that pork chop. Oh, okay, Jabril, coming on the dark side.
Yeah, exactly. What about you? Like, how's your dynamic, like your language with your family?
I mean, it is a lot of laughing. It could turn into a lot of yelling and then laughing after that. But no, I have a great relationships with my brothers and my sisters and my mom and dad. One thing that does bring us together is the kids and just TV,
Oh yeah,
we just have TV running in the background. Even if we're not watching, sometimes we just be having freaking like a whole bunch of kids stuff. Like here's one show that the kids just got me on. It's like Sharky, dude, baby shark.
Bro, my little sister when she was young,
you were singing the one you're last. I was like, the brother just
okay. We're going on the trip. No, bro. You know what show I used to really be on back in the day?
What?
The Backyardigans.
The Backyardigans.
See, your little siblings ain't young enough, right? Because like your youngest sister, she's been getting ready to graduate high school.
Yeah, 18. Yeah.
So she wasn't as young to Fisa.
Backyardigans.
Yeah, bro. Backyardigans. Bro, that was the show. I'm telling you, whoever did the choreography for them were black, because they would like start breaking out dance and like, it was definitely a black dude.
There was no Caucasian.
They were doing the jig before anybody else knew. Yeah, bro.
But the thing is that the relationship that I have with my family, that just didn't come overnight. Like we had to work to mold that thing. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's from the top down, from the bottom up, it's just like laughter is such a beautiful thing. And one thing that my family, we just got right now, maybe was in the past, was just we're finally getting comfortable just opening up with what's going on in life. You know what I'm saying? Because there's just certain things that you just can't tell your family, and there's certain things you feel like only your parents can understand. But they need to provide that area for you to come and talk.
That safety.
About that safety, because if they're not willing to listen, whether they're just always working, or even if you say it, they're just really not paying attention, or they really don't care. It's just like, all right, I mean, you automatically take that notion like, hey, my parents, one, are just too busy, or two, they just don't want to hear it.
Yeah, or they're not going to get it. But before we continue on that, let's open up the podcast, my friend.
Let's get it. Oh my goodness, we
were about to forget again. Remember the one episode we did the whole entire thing? We got to the end. We're like, we didn't answer the podcast.
Let's get it. 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everybody? This is Jabril Salam
and Muhammad Hassan,
and you will listen to the Young and Muslim podcast.
As-salaamu Alaikum, everybody, and Bismillah.
We almost missed you guys, but we remembered.
Thank you. This Jabril's great memory.
Oh yes, hope everybody out there is doing extremely well right now. Ramadan's around the corner, but there's still some other things that we want to be able to talk about before we start getting on the Ramadan train. You feel me?
That train, it starts off slow, but once it starts moving,
it don't stop.
Cannot be stopped.
Ramadan, come on in. So we're talking about comfortability, about talking to parents, opening up to them. Do you feel like once your relationship has kind of grown with your family, that you've been able to talk to them more openly about not just the good, but the bad stuff that goes on as well?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have, because there's that bond there and there's that trust. And when you have that level of trust, then you can have those tough conversations. I don't go into detail about everything because I feel like they don't need to know everything. There's just some conversation that stays amongst the homies or just the good friends.
Well, do you feel like maybe they don't understand because culturally they're not from here, and because essentially you being a first generation American, you have a different understanding of the culture and the lifestyle here from your parents. So you might say something to them and they're like, no, we don't do that. But you're like, Mom, like, I've been here my whole life. This is what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, is there that difference? Do y'all ever like clash
Yeah, I mean,
or rather, is that the reason why you don't tell them certain things?
Absolutely, yes. There's just certain things that they just won't understand. Even if I tell them and went into detail, they just look at me sideways like, son, have you lost your mind? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Have you not been raised right? It's like, yeah, I've been raised perfectly well. There's nothing wrong. It's just, this is just reality, what's going on. And the thing about parents is that they try to protect you instead of trying to prepare you, you know? And that's just
damn, what boat you get that out of? that was tight, bro.
I appreciate that.
Took me by surprise. We do not prepare these podcasts in advance, so like that was dang.
Appreciate that.
They protect you, but don't prepare
that was straight
you.
from the soul, brother.
I feel it.
Yeah, so it's just like
that.
all those things that I saw when I was younger, whether it was just playing in the streets, just kind of getting into shenanigans. Like if they would have told me,
all right, K-Dot. Hey, yo, we can't have a serious podcast, man. What am I doing? My fault, bro. I'm always jonesing. All right, man. Continue.
But go back to it, just like it's like if they would have told you about those stuff earlier, then you would have known what decisions to make. You know? But the thing is that like no. If I don't tell my kids about it, then they won't know about it. Then they won't do it.
Yeah, the issue we run into as young Muslims out here is that you do run into that issue. However, I think the difference is because my parents are from this country and we kind of live in the reality of what happens. Just reality of what happens around the world, man. Like people get themselves in situations, smoking, drinking, sex, all that stuff all over the world. It doesn't matter if you're in Egypt or if you're in Virginia. Like,
but it's so discreet in those other places. Like so.
But is it though? Because think about it. Here's one thing I realized about my parents. They know when people walk around and they drunk, right? Just like your parents would be able to look at somebody and be like, yo, that person's drunk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like our parents have been around the block, but I think the issue with a lot of parents is that they don't tell their kids that they've been around the block because they want to make it seem like they've been on the same street. Yeah. They've been this way their entire lives when it's not true. I was talking to a friend and he was saying the same thing about his pops, how he was like, yeah, my pops doesn't want to talk about things that he's done in the past because he thinks like, you know, now that he's turned that leaf, like he's always been on that side. But it's like, yo, we have to remember, and this is something I keep in mind for myself, you know, when I become a parent, like I want to make sure that I prepare my kids, as you said, and prepare them as a means to protecting them. See what I did there? I like what you said. That joint hit. But it's like, you know, obviously you want to kind of, you know, not make it seem cool the bad stuff you've done, but you also don't want to neglect the fact that like, yo, it's a very good chance that your kids are going to come in contact with that stuff. What do they do when they come in contact with it?
Good point.
How are the people, like how do they perceive people? Because I've seen plenty of times where like, and I even had this mentality, like I had friends that were stoners and stuff, and it was like, yo, like, nah, I don't mess with you because you smoke. But then come to find out, like, these some of the coolest people like I've ever known, you know what I'm saying? They're good people. So, you know, you can't just demonize something straight off the bat because like you don't do it or, you know, you don't want to expose your kids to it. Sometimes you just gotta give the reality like, look, there's good people that do things that necessarily aren't great for them. Yeah. And everything ain't for everybody.
When I was younger, I just thought my parents didn't know about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, like, my dad's never seen anybody drunk. Like, my mom never seen anybody high. Like, no, they've never even just came across it. And then as soon as I got older, I'm like, oh snap, this is everywhere. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's no way that they would be oblivious or turn a blind eye. But what they don't want to do is to make it seem like they've done it. Obviously, my parents have never done it, but they think that if they tell me about it, that it's gonna corrupt me. You know what I mean? That's no, unless, like you said, unless they're like, yo, this is so fun, like I can't wait till you start doing it, which I don't think parents would. But
get fucked up, Johnny. Like, you know what's right? I actually know friends that have parents like that though, and that joint is weird to me.
Oh no, trust me,
it is weird. That is weird to me. Like I would never want to like.
You mean like, oh, is that your sister? No, that's my mom.
Oh, God.
Always hanging out with us. I'm like, oh wow, that's a rock out, dude.
Stellar.
But the hardest thing is that you probably know, Jabril, is just being the oldest. You know, because it's like you are the test monkey, test rat, whatever.
Test dummy.
Test dummy.
How Sometimes the first thing you go to is a test monkey. What is wrong with you? A test rat? Like,
I think about a lab rat. Oh man, that's what happens when we record these episodes.
The one thing I know your parents didn't teach you is how to stop being a fob. That's the one thing they didn't teach you.
Because they're still fobs themselves. Oh snap! But as the oldest, there's a lot of things that you have to experience before you can kind of tell your brothers and sisters. Like, I had to be the one that tell my brothers and sisters, like, hey, yo, look, stuff out there ain't sweet all the time. You know what I mean? Like, if you're out at a certain night of time, don't matter where you're at, don't matter what city, where you're at, after you're out past a certain time, just be careful. Make sure you're not rolling alone. You know what I mean? Make sure you have a flashlight on you. Make sure you know where you're going. Make sure your phone's on and charged and stuff like that, you know? And then it's like, why? Well, these are the reasons why. You know what I'm saying? There's people out there that are doing these type of things. I'm not saying they're bad people, but they can make bad decisions. And you can be there at that time when they make those bad decisions.
Exactly.
Those aren't, I'm not saying those people are killers, but if somebody's drinking and they're driving and you in the same street as them, you feel me? Or you ride with them.
But it's also one of those things where it's like, you know, we demonize being around it. Yeah. Right? Like, oh, don't hang out with people that drink, right? But what if you're that friend that can save them from driving drunk and you're the DD? Yes. I've been in that situation many a times where I'm like, yo, like, nah, you're not driving because I got you. I'm going to take you home.
You could save 5 people's lives right there.
Exactly.
Including yourself.
Exactly. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's that catch-22 because reality is we live in such a secular society where, you know, as Muslims, you're going to have friends who are atheists. You're going to have friends who are Christian, Jewish, Sikh, Hindu, Buddhist, you know, spiritual. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have friends from all around, all different types of cultures. You're going to have Muslim friends that drink and smoke. I was about to say that. Even Muslim friends can you might be somebody that drinks and smokes. Like, yo, it's just how it is. Like, it's real. This is no judgment. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been there. So it's like, you know, you can't. Parents have to understand the reality of where the world is at and not live in a sugar-coated reality. You know, what they call it, rainbow-colored lenses or something like that. Oh, rose-colored lenses. Like, it's like, yo, you gotta live in the reality that we're in right now. Yes. That this stuff happens, and you need to prepare your kids to know that. And luckily, that's why I love public school. Going to public school exposed me to that stuff. But I, you know, alhamdulillah, like, I had great parents that kind of raised me to understand what it was that I was around. And I don't just have a straight up Muslim family. So I had like my people in my family drink. You know what I'm saying? People in my family smoke. Yeah. And I understood what that stuff was well before, like, I had people in my school expose me to it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was exposed to it by people that I trusted. But I still understood, yeah. Dare. I was one of those kids that had the Dare shirt. Don't do drugs. Do not bring those drugs around me.
Mad. Mom is against drunk driving.
Mom against drunk driving. Do not bring that shisha around me, man.
Even shisha, man. That's a great point, because it's just like...
Oh, like hookah, bro?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, if you do hookah, like, you an idiot.
Because, like, no... We're only like, it's okay to do shisha as Muslims, you know, like that's culturally. That's where we hang out, as the hookah bar, and then
you might as well smoke weed,
and then we do all that, and then we look down at people that smoke weed, like, man, look at those pot, look at those potheads.
Oh, y'all getting stoned too.
And the potheads looking inside, like, man, look at them hookah heads.
No, they're like, look at them hookah heads. Maybe they want to hit this. Like, maybe we should invite them in.
Maybe we should come in. No, but for real though, it's like, well. The question is it our responsibility to let our parents know that that's out there and that we see that, and, you know, we're looking for their guidance?
You know what? Like, I was talking to my mom the other day, and I was like, I'm in a place in my life where, like, a lot of my friends just aren't potheads anymore. And like, she was like, what? I was like, Mom, like, I have friends that smoke and drink and stuff. Like, and I was just real with it. I was like, I have friends that do that. And I mean, I don't, but it's just how it is. And obviously I'm in a point in my relationship with my mom and my dad where, like, I can be extremely real with them.
So we gotta be careful because some people aren't at that position yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're gonna talk about a few steps that you guys can get to that position before you break that news.
Exactly.
If you get punched in the face, don't come back to Japan.
Well, first off, you get punched in the face, you better put your deuces up because I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. You better defend yourself. But
continue.
But no, like I have the type of relationship with my parents where I made a decision. I was 12 years old, and I told myself I'm not lying anymore.
How much?
I said I'm done. Like little stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like me and my friends, we used to go to the store, like, oh, take a honey bun, and like, and I remember I took a honey bun. I felt so bad while eating it, but it was good though. But you know what I'm saying? Like it was like little stuff, like just stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, man, I'm done doing that. And mashallah, like my life since, I'm 26 now, so what, 14? Yeah, 14. All right, cool. Good 14 years. Yeah,
elementary.
I never really was the best at math, but like, you know, since then, you know, like my life has really done well because you learn that the truth really does set you free, and it allows you to be able to talk openly without any worries. Like, yo, I'm putting everything out there, so like if you got an issue with it, you have an issue with it, but my hands are clean.
And your
you know
parents
what I'm saying?
Don't trust you after that.
Exactly, because you tell them the good, the bad, everything in between. They're like, okay, cool. Like it's not just like, oh, mom, I did good here. It's like, hey, mom, like I really think I messed up. You know what I'm saying? Or like if they find out about stuff, that's the other thing.
That's my man.
We're scared that our parents will find out the bad stuff that we've done. And granted, I mean, that's some bad stuff, right? Yep. And you don't want that to be exposed. But like, I mean, like I've gotten in trouble over some serious stuff before. Absolutely. But it put me in a position where now, as I'm older, I'm talking stuff that happened when we were 19, 18, 19, 20, somewhere around that way. So like now you look at it 8-9 years down the line, you're like, man, I'm glad that happened because it put me in a position where it was like, all right, now I got to kind of man up. I got to be more responsible. You know what I mean? And my parents trust that.
It's so hard because after you say one lie, then it turns into another lie, then you're trying to hide that lie, then it turns into another lie, and the next thing you know, you forgot what the truth even was. You feel me? And it's hard to cover that up. But you do bring up a good point in regards to being upfront with your parents, because when they find out that you lied about something, you lose all that credibility. You lose all that trust, you know? And then it's like, how can I trust you? And you say you're with your friends, but every time you say with your friends, you're lying and you're somewhere else. You know what I mean? And then you're telling your parents, like, man, my parents, like, they never let me go out with my friends. They won't let me stay out late. But how do you expect them to do that when you're lying about where you're at and who you're with? You feel me? So I'm not a parent myself, but looking from my parents' lenses, it's like, shoot, man, like, can I even trust this kid out like by himself?
But at the same time, though, coming from a young Muslim's perspective, like, looking at it from a young Muslim perspective, you gotta look at it where it's like, yo, we don't want to have to talk to our parents and tell them every little detail of what's going on. Like, and it was a hurdle that I had to get over with my parents. Where it was like, where you going? Who you gonna be with? And I was like, oh my god. Until what I started doing was I started getting smart. I started bringing my friends to the crib and be like, yo,
that's
here
old
my
school,
parents,
man. That's
let
old
me,
school.
my parents, you know what I'm saying? And that way, when I mentioned the name, they're like, who? I was like, you know, I played soccer with them. Or, hey, you remember we met them at, okay, cool. Because like, if they can just put a face to it.
Hey, take notes, young bucks.
Exactly. That's just one thing. Now, granted, you know, that's my parents. Like, certain parents, like, they're like this girl, when we went to Miss, she said, my parents have an issue with me hanging out with kids who aren't Muslim, but my school are predominantly black and Christian. She's like, but my parents don't want me hanging out with anybody that's not Muslim. And I'm like, well, the reality of the situation is, like, that's not real. That's not realistic for you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, my advice to her was just like, look, like, be respectful of your parents, but respectfully disagree and be like, look, these are great people. They're good people. But you know, she was kind of scared of like what her friends would think if like she told them what her mom kind of says, or like so on and so forth. So I was like, look, you gotta be upfront with somebody. Because if you try and, it's kind of like we were talking about earlier, if you try and hold it all in on your own, it's going to become too much. So you need someone to at least be able to empathize with what's going on and where that's coming from. You know what I'm saying? And your friends will understand a lot easier than your parents will, because your parents, again, they come from a country where everybody's probably Muslim, whether they are practicing or not. But like, As-salaamu Alaikum, like, they're definitely Muslim. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's difficult, but you just gotta know how to finesse your parents, and not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. You gotta just know how to adapt to your parents and speak their lingo, and know what type of language they need to hear.
My man, you exactly. You gotta. Sometimes you gotta know how to brush their ego, and that ego can be just the way they like to be spoken to. You know, because if there's something that I want to do, I come and talk to my mom and dad like a soft spoken tone. You know, and then I come with the facts like, hey, we're about to do this, X, Y, and Z in 2 weeks. I'm giving you guys a heads up. I'm going to be gone this weekend. Here are the people that I'm going with. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This is where we're going. This is what we're going to do. This is the hotel that we're going to be at. Here's Jabril's number just in case you can't get a hold of me. Because I think one thing that gets parents really agitated is when you go somewhere and you act different once you're gone. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, so you don't want to text me no more, huh? Okay. I see how you act when you get your little cell phone, get around your little friend.
I see when you're hanging around with the real bro. You don't even know how to be real yourself, huh? But no, that really doesn't make a big difference. So I think we said this, plenty of times. But keep that same energy when you're home, when you're away from home. Like, text them, keep them updated, let them know once you arrive, or once you're leaving, because they love updates like that. Because they just want to feel.
You bring up a good point, because once I graduated college, right? So a lot of you college kids or ex-college kids or recently graduate, you're going to run to this issue where, especially if you live on campus, now you're going back to living with your parents, and that level of freedom that you once had is not going to be there anymore. Like, you're not going to be able to stay out till 4 a.m, go to 7-Eleven with your friends, and then nobody say anything to you. You know what I'm saying? So like, you're going to go through that rough patch. I know you went through it. I went through it where, like, where you going, who you with? You just like, bro, like, why are you tripping on me?
4 years, I just gave you a phone call and contact. What? No, it's a big difference.
Well, I just text you. So you know, the way you have to adapt to that, look, y'all better listen. We giving y'all the little hints, right? The way you adapt to that is you have to over communicate with them and let them know everything up front. Why? Because then eventually, let's say you do that for 3 months.
It takes time. It takes time.
Because you got to cue them up. You got to butter them a little bit. Because eventually, and this isn't to play them, it's really just so they can know like what your routine is and who the people you hanging out with. You know what I'm saying? Don't do this as a ploy and be like, yeah, first off, I'm going to tell them that I'm hanging out with my boys. But really, though, I ain't. So then I'm going to tell them that for 3 months. After 3 months, I'm really going to be hanging out with the girl. And after 3 months, they going to trust me. And me and her going to be able to hang out. No worries. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's not the play.
Don't do that. And that's not just for guys, that's for girls too.
Yes.
So it goes both ways. I think establishing that trust with your parents, it takes time, because as Mo said, you have to show it through your actions. Mm-hmm. What was it like for you? Like, after college, what was it like for you to kind of gain your parents' trust? And how hard was that for you?
It's because right now I'm thinking about how I treated my parents in high school, in college, and then after college. After college was definitely the toughest, but I have the strongest relationship with my family now, you know. But like you said, think about it, I was even coming back home from college was tough. Like those breaks.
Oh yeah.
That was tough, but I was still getting used to it. But so after I graduated, like, I would come home, and like Jabril said, like, there'd be times I would just leave the house, you know, just leave. My mom would call me, yo, where you at? I'm outside. Where outside? I'm outside.
Like, I'm at the door.
Out. Like, yeah, like, no, like, where you going? Like, why didn't you tell me before you left? I was like, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Well, now you know.
I didn't know I couldn't do that. Yeah, that was a good one, wasn't it? Because I did know I could do that.
Snap. But anyway,
that was a good one, bro.
Like that. Snap. But no, I would just walk out. I'm like, what are you saying? Like, I'm just going out. Cause think about it. When you're in college, bro, you legitly you're like, okay, I'm leaving, and then you leave. You're not talking to no roommates. You're not talking to no chaperone. You're not talking to no RA, no dean. You're just out the door. And it's multiple times a day, maybe even like 20, 30 times a day.
You're making moves.
And then once you do it in at the house, your parents are like, yo, what are you doing, man? And it's like, man, I don't got time to tell you every single time I'm leaving.
Yeah, your mom hit you up. What you do? Man, we finna get active. We finna get active out here. What you talking about?
But then that slowly had to trim down a little bit because I knew that was almost a way of like disrespect. While I was living under my parents, so I'm like, they gotta know where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? They gotta know where I'm at, and I gotta communicate because at the end of the day, they just want to make sure I'm safe. You know. But at first, the adjustment was so tough. It was so tough. I'm telling you, like.
Do you think the adjustment was tough because of your resistance to it all?
Yeah, definitely my resistance, man. I was just freaking a rebel. You know, it's like, man, I ain't gotta tell y'all everything. But when in reality, it was just like, they don't want to know everything. You know what I'm saying? They just want to know the important things. Where you going? Who are you going with? What time you coming home? Those are the 3 biggest things.
Yeah. The thing, well, you know what's funny now is like, right now, right? Yeah. Like, your parents ain't hit you right now because they know what's up. So I remember there was one point like my parents used to hit me.
I was like, your bro.
Dog, I was like, Pops, like, dog, like, what's up? He was like, nothing. Where you at? I'm like, bruh, I'm in the same place I was an hour ago. Like, what's up?
I'll call you an hour.
Yeah. So it got to the point where it was like, look, this is exactly what I'm doing, and I'll be doing from this time to this time. Like, don't bother me. It's and it's a little bit different, like from then to now, because now, you know, I actually had to have a conversation with my mom and dad. I was like, look, when we're recording, don't hit us because, you know, we don't want the phone to go off or anything like that. But like now they call, and it's just like, if they call, you know what's funny? They know that we record at this time around night, and we text throughout the day. So they're like, all right, bet, we just won't hit you up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But
I understand it.
It's like you have to finesse that relationship with your parents where you're so upfront and you gain their trust to the point where they don't question your moves because they understand what you're actually up to and what you're doing. And a lot of that comes from actually having to have open conversations with them. If you don't have open conversations, if you don't feel that you can truly talk to your parents and they understand what you're doing, then like, it's going to be very hard for you to trust them and vice versa.
So let's take a step back here, because some people probably think like, yo, how can I do this with my parents? Well, first of all, spend some quality time with them, right? For me, quality time means like I'm sitting down by my mom right next to her. My phone is not near me, no devices. I'm just sitting there and see how she's doing, how her day went, how was work, what did she eat, what made her happy, what made her sad. Does she have any plans over the weekend? Did she talk to her mom? Just there. I could legitimately do that for 30 minutes and leave the house again, and I'll be good. You know, it's just that quality time. Like, nobody else on my mind. I'm just talking to her. Just make her feel like she's your friend, and then that you care about them. And then with my pops, a little bit different because he's always on the movies at work. So I just give him a phone call. You know, like, hey pops, you know, saying As-salaamu Alaikum, how's everything going? It's good. Okay, how's work today?
Pops is easy.
Yeah, my pops. Hey, alhamdulillah, you good, man? Okay, well, like, you know, what time you come back home this time? Okay, you know, did you see Mustafa today? Which is my littlest brother. Did you talk to him? Yeah, I did. Okay. Did you get your prayers in? You got your medicine? Yeah, I did. Okay, perfect. That's it. You know, it's pretty short conversation.
Back in college, your dad be like, Mohammed, you good? You're like, yeah, Baba, I'm good. You eat? Yes, I hey, Baba. You have money? Yeah, Baba. Okay, goodbye. He's a man. Your pops was simple. He was like, did you eat? Do you have money? Are you okay? How's your bro? He's good, alhamdulillah. Okay, good. How's his parents? How's his father good? Yes. Okay, bye.
Conversation with my pops, I timed it, never lasted over like 55 seconds. For that's all it took to know that 1, I was having a good day. 2, I could survive for a week. 3, Oh, my man's good. That's all you need to know. That's it.
Is your man's in spell? Yo, your pops, you know why he does that? Because your pops grew up in the era with the payphones where you had to get the collect call and you say the whole message during the collect call. Hey, you good? You good, man? Like,
you get to that all in one sentence, and then I respond in one sentence, and then that's the end of my conversation.
Oh man.
But what about you? Like, what's some quality traits that you have with your parents in regards to spending time?
So with each person in my family, we all, it's almost like having inside jokes with different friends. Like you can, you have different friends for different things, and my relationship with each person in my family, and this goes past my immediate family, it's like, you have a certain relationship with everybody in your family where it's tailored. So I know, like, for my mom and I, after a while I was like, man, what do I buy my mom for her birthday anymore? And what I realized is that there's no gift that you can give somebody that will last and that same experience be there. Is in economics they call it units of measurement for enjoyment. It's called oodles. Oodles. Yes, oodles.
Oodles, because not oodles and noodles. Definitely.
So like oodles, right? Like every time you get one gift, or like let's say you get a pizza, that first slice is extra good. Second one, half that, and then it's like each one's half. But when you get a new experience, every time is just as good. So like with my mom, I realized, okay, bet, like I want to get her certain things that it's an experience, right? Same thing with my pops, but like it's less frequent. So like I can do certain things with my dad, or like I can just get him a gift, he's gonna appreciate it, he's gonna love it, and me and him just sit down and have like adult conversation. Or like now, like we'll watch basketball together, and he started watching soccer with me, right? Me and my mom, like me and her can sit down and just watch TV shows all day and like just catch up on shows. Or like we can just sit down or like we go to the store together, that sort of thing. Or we just like show each other funny videos on Facebook and stuff. Like that's the nature of our relationship. Like we can do that. With my sisters, literally, I take my sisters every time I go back home. They'll hop in the car with me. I give them the aux cord and we just play music and we dance in the car. Like we can literally, and it doesn't matter where we drive. That's something in my family, like we love to be on the road. So like I'll just drive my sister, we put on music and we be dancing like hey. And just like it's funny, like that's just how our relationship is. Like with my aunts, like there's certain things, like me and my aunt Tracy, me and her, every time there's a family function, we have a dance battle. You know what I'm saying? Because like there was one time where we had dance battle, and we always talk about it and we laugh about it. So like every person in our family, there's certain experiences that you have with them where you're able to say like, this is our thing, this is our experience with one another, and every time we're together we reference that. And that's what we can always, there's nothing to talk about. Like my grandfather, like I always ask him questions about like when he traveled and that sort of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like now not so much, but now I ask him, like I just text my granddad, how you doing? And he's like, yeah, I'm good, getting old. Like that, like so.
But that's like communication.
Yeah, man, it's like you got to have some sort of like. My fear is that kids forget how to relate to older people just because they're older. But at the end of the day, like with anybody, you got to have a conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that conversation where, like you said, how are you doing? Like, what have you been up to? Or like a lot of times our parents were scared to ask them about what they used to do when they were younger.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, because think about it, I feel like a lot of younger kids, they use it as a cop-out. I can't talk to my parents, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to talk to my parents, you know what I mean? Like, they're too old. They're not going to understand, like, the younger generation, stuff like that. But like you said, ask them about their youth. Ask them about, what they used to do in high school. Did they play ball? Or did they cook? Or did they do any extracurricular activities? You feel me? But one thing that, you hear this all the time, a family that prays together stays together. And I know that's one thing that you guys do, and as well as my family. You guys pray together, alhamdulillah, you pray together. I know your dad always talking about different hadiths and different Quran verses. Maybe your sisters aren't paying attention all the time, just like some of my sisters, but if we all sit down after prayer, we talk about something, it doesn't have to be too long, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then boom, we get back to our day.
We were actually on Tuesdays we would do like a little like halakha for like 30 minutes, and so like each person would find like a hadith or a verse in the Quran. They would pull it out, they would recite it, and then we sit down and kind of explain it.
Nice.
And give like our interpretation of it, or like what did we learn from it, and how do we apply it to our lives. And like each person would do it. So like my sister, she had like the little books about the prophet, and she would read the story, and then she would say, well, here's what I think about this. And then, like there was something that was wrong, or like really we didn't critique. We kind of just listen, because you want to kind of understand where each person's mentality is.
Yes.
So that's one thing that I can say in my family. We've used this religion as a means to be able to self-express and how to be able to think freely. And so that's one thing, like, alhamdulillah, I think a lot every single prayer, everyone. I'm like, thank you for the parents, because I realize not everybody's as lucky to have parents that teach them in that manner, but also give them that freedom to be able to make mistakes and have their own interpretation of how to run their lives. You know what I mean? So I've been very blessed in that way. So for all you guys that are listening, is vital. It's very, very important that you guys take the time to actually talk with your parents and listen to your parents as well, but then also demand that same respect. They're like, hey, like, I want you guys to listen to how my day was. Here's something that's going on. Sometimes you got to actually come to your parents and be like, hey, look, like, I have this problem going on. Like, I really need you guys' help, like simple stuff like, bro, I was having the issue with like things I was doing at work, and I got their advice with it. Like, hey, what should I do? It's easy to talk to your friends, because your friends gonna give you the same BS advice that you giving yourself, right? But like your parents may be able to give you certain advice that nobody else can give you, because they know you better than anybody else, But you said a family that prays together stays together, and one thing that we don't think about enough about it, right? The form of worship. Yeah. Form of worship can simply be like, like spending time with your family. That is to go one, spending time with your family. It is, right? Yeah. Just doing that. But then two, doing stuff out in Allah's creation. So doing charity work, like, I love that. Giving, like, during New Year's, we went and handed out bags, like needy bags, to the homeless, to the needy. Like, that was something that it's a form of worship. Like, family that prays together stays together. Well, like, that's something my sister will never forget, and inshallah they do it with their kids. I'm gonna do it with my kids. So like, that's a form of giving back, ibadah, that Allah looks at, that's very important. My parents been doing stuff like that with me, because I was the only child for a minute, so they were doing stuff like that with me for a minute. Like, we would adopt the highway, clean the bay day, Arbor Day, all that stuff to like contribute to our community.
Love thy neighbor day.
Yeah, love thy neighbor day. Stuff that was just like, we give back. We give our time back, but guess what? We do it together. I love that, and that's important. You know what I'm saying? Because now we do stuff like that as friends, and that's important to me. Like, it's more important than let's go hang out and let's go to the club, or like let's go to the bar, or let's go to the hookah spot, wherever. Yeah. It's like, like, how do y'all feel about like going and feeding the homeless? Yeah. Like, do y'all want to, like, you remember we did you do it with me back at Wesleyan where we did the homeless shelter?
The class?
I didn't do the class. I just went. I just showed up and wanted to help. I didn't take the class.
I'm not really sure. Yeah.
I don't think. No, I might just went on my own. But like, for me, that's always been something big. But when you partake in those things with your family, sometimes it's like, hey, mom, there's, do you want to participate in Arbor Day this year?
I like that. I think that's definitely something I'm gonna take back to my family and incorporate right away. Because that's really good, because we always thinking about teaching our kids about just the Quran and everything like that, but not just going above and beyond to help those around us who are less fortunate. I think there was one thing that you said in there that I definitely got hit on, is just our rights as children. We have rights, just like our parents have rights. We all know that heaven lies beneath of the feet of our mothers, but also we have rights over our parents. And I think there's certain times where our parents need to kind of walk the walk. Have you ever called out your parents or something like that? There's been times I call my parents like, nah, you've been telling me this for a while now and you're not even doing it. Like, make sure you're a good example.
Oh, nah, we go hard in my family.
Yeah.
we call it, we like, nah. You did that last week and now you're getting on me about doing it. You gotta make sure that and obviously when you get a little bit older, you can talk to your parents a certain, like in a more, not forceful, but like you can talk to them and be like, you can be more frank and more real with them without being disrespectful. I dare my sister to say, talk to my parents the way that I can talk with them, because my relationship with them is more of an adult to adult relationship. It's more of a friendship.
That's the biggest thing, man. That's the biggest thing, is the friendship. So I want to dive into some of these, hadiths in regards to just the rights that we have. So it says the children's rights. It says Allah has given children rights over their parents, just as the parents have rights over their children. Okay.
Sorry about
that. Oh yeah, pull up. Hey. So the first right that kids have over their parents is choosing a righteous wife to be a righteous mother. It was narrated from Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, that the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, a woman may be married for 4 reasons: her wealth, A, her lineage, A, her beauty, A, and her religious commitment. Marry the one who is religiously committed. May your hands be rubbed with dust, and may you prosper. Narrated by Al-Bukhari, Muslim. So people think that, not for me. So what I got from this is, make sure she is religiously committed, right? That's just overall. That doesn't mean that your wife needs to be a hafiz, right? That doesn't mean that your wife needs to be in a mosque, but it means that your wife should be involved with the community, 1. 2, know enough Quran to teach your kids, right? 3, teach your kids between right and wrong. Just how to be good people.
Have common sense.
That's just have common
decency.
Sense. Also, and what I also see the religiously committed is that treating the kids the same, boy or girl. You know what I mean? Because that's a commitment. Allah has, what's in the Quran? It says men and women were created equally but different. We forget about that equally portion. We think about the different but not equally. So you have to, so like make sure your mother does that. I know, and I see my culture that I see some women or some mothers that just praise their sons. You know what I'm saying? Like legitimately praise their sons, and their sons can be in the street acting a fool, acting a damn fool. And then you got the girls at home just sweet, doing what they need to help out their parents, and the mother just got me like a chokehold. Like, hey, you can't leave the house, this, that, and third. And it's like, yo, look at your son, he's wild. Yeah, don't worry about him. He's a boy. He's a man. He can do what he wants.
Somebody said to me, old head, back in So he was asking like if I had a girlfriend, and my dad was like, man, he ain't thinking about no girls. And I looked at him, I just got that smile, But Martin, man, I miss that dude, man. He's still alive, but I just haven't seen him in a minute. He was like, nah, the boy, he got to soil his raw oats. He got to soil his oats. At the time, like, you're a little bit younger, so you don't know what that means. And soil your oats. If you don't know what that means, Google it. Oh damn! You're supposed to laugh at that point, but never mind. All right. One of the points in that hadith that I want to clarify when they say you have to teach your kids the Quran. It doesn't just mean teach them how to memorize surahs. It also means like you have to teach the kids how to actually apply what is in the Quran. And you have to teach your kids how to think about what it is they're reading, because it's important that you don't just tell them stuff and then try and fearmonger them into believing. You want your kids to have a clear understanding of what it is that you're teaching them and why you're teaching it to them.
It's more context, right?
So yeah, that's super important. And I know for me, that's something that my wife has to be able to do. Wherever she's at out there.
But look at that. We have rights over our parents before we even born. SubhanAllah. That's a lot of responsibility. So for everybody out there that's looking to get married or that's already married, just remember you owe your kids. So
what it kind of means though, like the first thing that popped to mind is you got to take care of yourself now, so that when you have kids, like you're not 30 years old, like bedridden. You know what I'm saying? Like you spent your 20s out there smoking, drinking, partying and stuff like that, but then you start having kids and like now you're just not in a good situation, or like even financially take care of where you need to be at financially, because you don't want your kids to be in a situation where you guys are living off food stamps because of stupid decisions that you made financially. You know what I mean?
Blew all your money at the casino, blew it on a habit that you had. Do you have anything else? I'm going to jump into the second one.
Go ahead.
The second one is the child should be given a good name, such as Abdullah or Abdul Rahman. I definitely think having a good name plays a big role. And I see people sometimes just be having wild names for their children. Just remember, like, they have to grow up with their name, you know? So if you have a name that means something in Arabic, it could mean something really good. But in their native language, to whatever their country they're at, and it means something kind of bad or maybe something that's offensive, you might want to reconsider that.
Like what?
What?
Like what?
Let me see. So in Egypt, right, there's this one soccer player. His name is Mohammed Kahraba, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Arabic, that means electricity.
He's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie.
That's electric, right? And I can just see him getting joked just like 24/7 about that. You know what I mean? You can have a good name, but I'm just thinking, like, so for me, I love my name. My name is Muhammad. You know, your name is Jabril. I'm trying to think somebody that I grew up with that their name was just like wow, that their parents.
You know, I don't mean. I do mean to cut you off, but I don't mean to cut you off. I think nicknames is also
nickname.
Yeah, one of those things like give your kid a good name, and if you're going to nickname them, you know, don't give them no trashy nickname, like nah, I can't say Peanut. Shout out to my cousin Peanut. But you know what I'm saying? Like, don't give kids like bad nicknames. You know what I'm saying? Don't give them nicknames at all. Like,
right?
Like,
I mean, be proud of their names.
Yeah,
bro.
let them like. I'll be real. Like, I used to be ashamed of my middle name, Abdul, because I didn't really know what it meant. It just didn't sound. I was like, Jabril Salam sounds suave, but Abdul, you thought that,
dude.
Now, like, people are like, what's your name? Jabril Abdul Salam. Like, I love it. You feel me?
Yeah.
But it's like you gotta teach your kids why they should be proud of their name as well. You know,
but what their name means.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody make fun of your names. Well, did you know that my name means, you know, the most beloved, or it means just like whatever, just like, you know, merciful, or just whatever it means. Like, wow, dang, that's actually pretty cool, man. My name is Chris.
Yeah, but Chris is also a very important name as well.
I'm saying just in general.
Biblical. I mean, come on, bro. Like, damn.
Okay.
That's the other thing. Somebody pointed out to me. They said, you know, we Muslims often think that they have to name their kid a Arab name. Like, it has to be an Arabic name, but that's not really true. Like,
this is a good name.
If I meet somebody named Gabriel or Gabriella, like, that's literally the same thing as my name. It's no different. It's just like not. It's just not Arabic.
Yeah, just like you see Moses, and then there's Musa. You know.
Exactly. So you know, it's just we got to get out of this mentality that like having Arabic names is the only way to go. You know, because there's hundreds of languages. You can't tell me that like the only fountain of names you could find are like Muslim isn't categorized by a language. Let's be real about that. You know what I'm saying? Because as Muslims, most Muslims live in Indonesia, as you pointed out before. You know, the largest concentration of Muslims live in Indonesia. So like, I wouldn't expect everybody there to be named Muhammad. You know, so you know, that's just important. The context of it all. I mean, I guess the theme of this episode right here is just like how you can get your parents to really trust you and strengthen that relationship between your parents and yourself, but still, you know, let your parents know that, hey, like, I'm still somebody that commands respect, you know, but how do you garnish that respect? How do you build that respect and that trust over the years? You know, how have we done it? And I think that's kind of where we're going. We had another intention for this episode, which I think we can probably do another one.
Yeah, I think we definitely.
Yeah. I'm glad we're on the same page with that, because there was some eyeballs. We were looking at each other, but
I think it rolled the right way though.
Yeah, no, it definitely, because this one, you know,
natural.
I mean, that's the way it all goes, baby. Ain't no problem.
How about those people that aren't as lucky as us to have, you know, whether it's great parents, to just have the opportunity to have that great dialogue. There's just some people that just cannot talk to their parents, that just can't relate to their parents, whether their parents are abusive or manipulative, you know? Like, what do you...
That's a great question. I was listening to this imam on YouTube a few months back, and someone that I was talking to at the time, was telling me, you know, like how their parent was abusing them, and just like mentally and not so much physically, but just like emotionally and physically. And he's just like, you know, I have to be able to take that time away from them and distance myself because they're not healthy for my emotional well-being, you know. Like you can respect somebody and still not bang with them.
Oh yeah, you can respect somebody from a distance.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Like, and if that person happens to be a parent, that sucks. Yeah. But you know, again, like we too are humans, and you have to respect your parents. But at the same time, you gotta remember that like you can't allow someone to be around you that's constantly going to, you know, degrade you and call you out your name. And
at that point, they're not religiously committed, just like about the rights that we just talked about earlier.
Exactly. So your parents have to be involved religiously and uphold those rights of the deen. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't be like, you're gonna go to hell because you don't respect me, but like they treat you like garbage. You know what I'm saying?
That's a phenomenal point. That is
it works both ways.
You know, and you see that a lot, especially that fear mongering part about like, oh, you're not gonna take care of us, like that's your job, like if you don't take care of me, how are you gonna get to heaven? They say the two biggest doors when it comes to Jannah are your mother and your father. You know what I mean? Like those are the two biggest doors. So they kind of use that like, well, if you don't take care of me, how do you expect to go to Jannah? You know. But you know what?
They use that and thinking that they're the ones that are going to get you into Jannah. When in actuality, it's how you've treated them. Yes. And Allah is the one that determines if you get into Jannah. You feel me? Exactly. So like parents, I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? And it is sad because the parents don't even know. Like they think they control whether the child gets into Jannah based off of what they believe their child's doing. But if in reality, you're actually very good to your parents. Again, this takes some self-awareness.
Yes.
Right? Like you can't be like, I'm good to my parents, but you like, you mom, like you know what I'm saying? Like that has I'm like going to my room, you go to your room, mom. Like no. Like, you know, there has to be that, you have to be real with yourself.
Yes.
In that sense. So, you know, parents can't hold that sort of power over a child because only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can say who's in and who ain't. He's the only bouncer at this club. You feel me?
Bro. We all trying to get in.
Exactly. We all want to get into this club, man. Wearing green robes with silk thobes. You feel me?
Baby, right? With the rivers of honey, milk. What's the other two?
Huh? I ain't saying that else.
We need to continue research.
Let me sip my water.
We'll be back. It's been a long day and an even longer night.
What's other things, man, that you see like when it comes to relationships between kids and their parents that like, you know, especially like when you're younger. Matter of fact, even like as you get older, man, you start dealing with different things.
Well, it's even hard. I mean, another thing that parents will kind of be tough on when you get older is just marriage too. You know, like trying to dictate, you know, who you're gonna marry, who's best for you. Like, you know, I'm sure your parents want the best for you. But if they don't know you, because you don't have that relationship, how do they know who is the best for you? You see what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, I want the best for you. It's like, yeah, you want the best for me, but you're not even taking into consideration
what's
the
best
things
for me
that I like, which ultimately makes it best for me. The only reason why you're saying my cousin will be best for me, because that's the best suitable decision for you. You know what I mean? And they're like... And then sometimes parents try to guilt trip, like, but it was my dream that you married this, you know, this girl. Like, you don't want to fulfill my dreams. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, like, goodness gracious, that's a lot of pressure, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's your dreams, but, you know, we also have our dreams. And that they make it seem like marrying somebody that they didn't choose is gonna go bad. Right, and if anything goes wrong in that relationship, it's like, I told you. If you were just listening to me, they don't support it. They're just gonna sit there and just watch.
That's childish.
There and just watch and just wait.
That's childish.
That's
bro.
So childish, bro.
That's
you
childish.
Know, but I've seen it too. You know, even like one of my cousins. You know, he married outside of the family. Everybody just like, man, this thing ain't gonna work. He's gonna come crawling back to get one of our girls soon. You know what I mean? Just waiting. Yeah,
man. parents can be extremely selfish.
That's so selfish.
And what's funny about that instance that you mentioned is one of those times where you look at parents who say that, and it's more that they're being vain about why they don't want you to marry a certain person, or why they want you to marry this person, because they're gonna go back to their friends and say, "Oh, like look who my son or look who my daughter married."
Kept
And it's very much about money, and it's about looks and who their family is. And granted, like you definitely want to make sure that you marry into a good family.
We just said hadith. It says that you can do that. Those are the 4 things that people look for. But what's the most important?
Where's their piety? Like where are they at spiritually and religiously? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to get you into heaven.
Absolutely.
So like you can marry somebody that fits the archetype of what your parents say is appropriate for your tribe, or your country. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if that person isn't going to help fulfill you, don't do it. Remember this: your parents are going to, inshallah, if things are according to Allah's plan, typically parents die before the children. And if you do everything just because your parents said like, oh, you should do this and we'll like do this for us, and then they leave this earth, and then you're stuck living.
Or they go back home.
Or they leave. Yeah, they just leave in general. Now you're stuck with the life that you didn't really choose, and you felt force fed. You know what I'm saying? And you're not really happy because now you're not enjoying your own life. It's crazy.
Man, that's so tough, because I was talking to somebody about this. I was like, there's 3 different narratives, right? When it comes to dreams, there's dreams that society puts on you, right? Then there's dreams that your parents put on you, and then there's that narrative that you create yourself, right? And you can fall into any of those 3 of those buckets, right? Either you follow what society's doing, everybody else doing, or you follow what your parents are doing, or you follow kind of what you want to do. Honestly, I'm not saying you be rebellious and don't listen to your parents. Take what they have to say into consideration. They're very smart people and they love you, but just understand that they're seeing things through their lens, which is not the same lens as yours. But also, it's a nasib. Like, just because your parents came here to the U.S. and you married somebody that isn't in your tribe, that doesn't mean that if you were back home, that wasn't going to happen. You know what I mean? It says, like, what's meant for you will find you, even if you're at the highest mountain. Or it was at the lowest part of the mountain, and whatever's not meant for you won't come to you even at the highest mountain.
I've never heard that one. Yeah. I just know, like, if the whole world is contriving for you to achieve something that isn't meant for you, it will never reach you, and if the whole world is trying to stop you from getting something that is meant for you, you'll still be able to get it. Paraphrase. I think we're both saying the same thing.
I was thinking like, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley.
Oh, Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, my man.
Ain't no river wide enough, baby,
to keep me from getting to you, baby. Oh, y'all want me to hit that Marvin Gaye? Oh, what boy at the end of the high and you low. Bro, I'll tell you one thing, bro. One thing my pops did when I was younger, I didn't know any rap. You talking about Fall Boy? Everybody be like, yo, listen to this new T. I'm like, T who? like
2 Chainz?
Bro, like, when I tell you I knew every Motown song, I knew.
I think it was your pops that put me on the shit.
Atlantic Records.
It was your pops that put me on to Sade.
No, it was Vinny. It was definitely Vinny.
But I think I heard it in your dad's book. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
he's hip
too. Bro. They saw Sade, man. They were starstruck. They were like, "Oh my goodness gracious, this is amazing, best concert ever."
But anyway, let's get back.
But yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate because like I've personally I haven't had to deal with that experience just because culturally,
it's a cultural thing for sure.
Yeah, that's completely cultural, and as being an African American, we are a part of a tribe here. But we're not so bent out of shape if someone is like, yo, like I have a potential wife or a girlfriend or whatever, and she's Kenyan.
Yeah.
Like, you can be like, oh, word? So what? Should we get married? Y'all get married? We're going to have trips to Kenya? What's up?
Excited.
Like for us, we get excited about cultural exchange because we enjoy, I think as African Americans, a part of our culture over the last 200, 300 years is we're always seeing new people come in. Granted, a lot of that was because of slave trade and because of one thing or the other. But like black people have always been explorers. You know what I'm saying? And we've always been people who are curious and learning of other people's cultures and passing on our own culture. So when you come as African American, we're not very stingy with what we learn. You look at hip hop, like, yo, look at the people who have come into hip hop who aren't black. You know what I'm saying? And we accept them, and they bring something to the craft, or they take something from the craft, and we're just like, you know what, that's cool. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we as a people as a whole are like that. So like, yo, like my parents accept you in as you know, my brother with ease, you know what I'm saying? And we don't say, oh, he's Egyptian. Like, nah, he's black. You know, at the end of the day, like, yo, you the same as us, and we treat you no different. You know what I'm saying? So, but there's that cultural difference for parents that come from other countries, especially, that, you know, you can't expect to raise your kids here and expect them to want to do everything that you want them to do. But then you, like, the worst thing is you're going to bash the country that has literally paved the way for you to have a life.
A great life.
An amazing life. Amazing life. You come here, you basically take money, you send it back home, and then you say, this country is horrible. We're done with this, and go back home. But, like, realize that this country has given you everything. It's provided you with so much, but yet you contribute so little. You're so selfish and what you actually want to give to the people here and to your community. You only think about a community that you no longer live in, and that's fine. That's respect. Give back to your people back at home. But like, what are you doing for the homeless here? What are you doing for? You're supposed to give charity where you're at. That's like trying to pray Salat at the same time as back home. Like, no, you gotta pray Salat at the time at where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, give where you are. You know what I'm saying? Contribute where you are. And so that goes back to your children. And this is specifically to the parents. It goes back to your children. Like, you gotta remember that your children are born here. They're raised here. Their friends are all here. They're going to mesh with people from different cultures, different religions. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be able to adapt and finesse. You got to be able to finesse. You know what I'm saying? Finesse your kids. Learn your kids. Like, understand your kids. Don't just try and force feed. You got to be able to say, son, daughter, how are you? What are you going through? How's school? What are you learning? Like, talk to them. Yo, learn who your kids are.
Yeah, man. Damn, bro. That reminds me of just walking to a gas station when there's like, take a penny, leave a penny. You know what I mean? You've seen that, because you're exactly right. Like, when we're like here in the US.
I'm usually the person that just need to take them.
You said leave a what?
You're like, dang, I only got 4 cents. You got a penny? That's me. I'm that guy.
But no, you're exactly right. Like, you see people here in this country living here for 30 years, so proud to everybody. I'm a U.S. citizen. Yeah, look at me. But never voted. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point about being a citizen? So you can brag around and tell your parents that you're.
And what are you teaching your kids?
What are you teaching your kids? You're not teaching that they need to vote, that they need to go to the city council meetings and protect their people here, at whatever it's at the schools, at the sports level, whatever is in your community that you want to kind of preserve, whether it's the mosque, the churches. Like, you're not showing them any of that stuff. You're showing them to get a good job, go to college, stack up, and just go back home.
They're useless to everybody. They're useless to their society because they don't know how to adequately contribute to their society beyond their own family. You know what I'm saying? So it's difficult. As me being a native here, it's difficult for me to see, you know, people of different cultures come here, especially for their children, because you're teaching your children this bad habit of go somewhere, just siphon the money, take the resources, but you don't have to give back that much. Just take the resources, give your zakat to the mosque, and that's it. You're good. But it's like, it's so much more than that. And that's why you go back to what you were saying in the hadith, where it was like, you know, you have to teach the kids religion. We got to teach the kids how to be actionable with the religion. Like, how are we as children supposed to act? How are we supposed to teach our own kids? And so we got to like start ending this toxic cycle of tribalism, of culturalism, you know what I'm saying, of nepotism. We got to end these cycles, because it's dangerous, and the youth are growing up thinking it's acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Or they growing up knowing it's not acceptable, but then the only example that they have of like adults that are functioning are their parents, and then they redo the same thing with their kids. Bro, you know, we gotta do better.
Bro, I was at ICNA, right, over the weekend. Shout out to the whole ICNA convention. And Linda Sarsour was speaking, and she was like, look, we're so caught up in saying they're Libyan, they're Egyptian, they're Sudanese, but to other people, they, especially the people that are quote unquote have some sort of Islamophobia in them, they don't care where we're from.
You're just another.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you just, you're somebody else with a hijab on or just a rag on your head, whatever it is. Like, they may not like us. So if those people can come together and not like us, how can we not come together and defend ourselves?
Or defend one another.
That's what I'm saying. So if we're breaking up, that makes it easier for them to attack us.
Bro, it says in the Quran that, I can't remember exactly, and I don't want to misquote it, but I'll lightly paraphrase, where it speaks along the lines of, when we separate ourselves and not unite ourselves through the religion, we're weaker. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost, don't quote me on this, but what I've taken from that is, Allah looks at it where if I see a sister, right, being attacked or like harassed, and I don't go help her, that's a sin on my plate.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless, matter of fact, forget religion. It's just like, regardless who it is, it's like, it's our duty to just be upright people in general. You know what I'm saying? So like, when we don't take that initiative to just be decent people, regardless of what someone else looks like or what their background is, it's like, bro, our duty is to be, as the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, to be a mercy to others, and so that goes back to what we're talking about, command a better relationship with your parents. Like, our parents have to remember, our kids are a mercy to us. We have to be a mercy to our parents, and our parents have to be a mercy to us. We have to want to ease each other's worries. Like, the world is already tough enough. The world is hard. When I come home, I want to feel that comfort that I can talk to my parents, and that I can I can have that relationship with my parents. Not that, well, I couldn't talk to nobody out here, and my friends are no help, and my parents are just going to nag me, so I'm all alone. And a lot of us, the youth, young able-bodied youths, feel that way.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen my cousin Vin, you won't understand the youths. That's how you know I'm old, bro. Like, youths. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where the dialogue just has to be open between the generational gaps. And like you said before, if you don't have that communication, everything is lost. Everything. If your hearing is off, your perception is going to be completely off.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we're using our platform to kind of slowly bridge that gap. Hopefully somebody listens to this.
Parents are listening.
Yeah, parents are listening. If kids are listening. I mean, this is just great tips for the both of us, because I think we all need help. We're soon to be parents, and
whoa.
What? I'm talking about.
I ain't having no kids. What you mean? I'm gonna have a bunch of them at some point, but no time soon.
Soon can mean anything.
This man said soon to be parents.
Like, at least
you got something to tell me, cuz? What's up? You about to have a baby on the way? I better be the godfather.
I got no babies. The only kid I got is the Young and Muslim podcast. That's not.
Only kid I got is my cat.
And Bill's doing a great job taking care of him. Kit Kat. Big shout out to that cat. But yeah, man, there's a long way to go. But I do believe that our youth, or our age, is gonna do it's gonna have a bigger impact, because I don't think we're really worried about tribalism now. If we just find somebody, you're like, yo, you're Muslim, khalas, you know what I mean? The conversation ends at that, But even if we find other people that are great, dude, I would probably say on a daily basis, I hang out with more non-Muslims than Muslims. You know what I mean? But that doesn't make me forget who I am. That actually makes me stronger in my faith, because I understand what they believe in and understand what I believe in. And I look at the differences, but also look at the similarities more, And one thing that I notice is that, dude, they're just trying to live a regular life, man, just like us, at the end of the day. Yeah,
and again, parents have to live in, especially foreign parents, they have to live in this reality that you're in this country. Unless you're leaving tomorrow, you have to be able to finesse the situation, pimp your situation, and say, you know what, look, these are things that we understand you as children are going to run into, and we want to help you navigate through that, But until then, for the people that don't have those parents, you know what I'm saying? Because you mentioned that earlier, and we never kind of got to it. Yeah. Look, if you don't have those parents that are open and you're able to talk to them, hit us up. shoot us a DM.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're open. We're able to talk. Go, bro. Just open the Snickers, bro. Just open it, dog. Like if you know it, like if you don't feel that you have that safety, find like a young group where you guys can talk about things that you're all going through. You know, shout out to the Chit Chat group that I found when I first moved out here. Both of us went as soon as I moved up here. You know, they've been a great resource for me to be able to relate to people and just like really just listen to what others are going through and be able like, wow, that's amazing.
You ain't
gotta
say nothing.
Yeah, you don't have to say a word. There's plenty of people that come and never say a word. So like try and find those groups and those people who can help you navigate through the stuff that you're going through, because we're all going through the same stuff. We're just not saying nothing. You feel me?
You feel me?
So yeah. Again, shoot us DMs. If you want to know where to find us to shoot the DMs, where can they find us, Muhammad?
You can find us on our social platforms, Twitter and Instagram, which is the most active. Young, the letter N Muslim. That's Young, the letter N Muslim.
That's Y-O-U-N-G, not Y-U-N-G. Y-O-U-N-G-N Muslim.
Thank you. And you can also make sure you subscribe and let people know how we're doing. Whether it's 5 stars, 2 stars, 1 star, 6 stars.
I kind of brushed over there, cuz. Subscribe to us on YouTube.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, goodness gracious,
What's
man.
wrong?
Like, what's wrong with you? You didn't have enough coffee today or something?
What you talking about?
Like, bro, you skipping social medias and you don't usually do this, man. You're off. You're
like
off.
us on Facebook.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry. And then, you can look at our visuals on YouTube, like Jabril said, the Young and Muslim Podcast. Find us on SoundCloud, Google Play, Apple Podcast, Castbox. Why are you laughing?
I feel like I was such an a-hole to you, bro. My fault.
It's okay. You do this all the time, guys. I need to find
off
myself.
the camera.
What else can they find us, Jabril? Come drive out to Leesburg. We out here.
Come out. It's nothing out here.
It's so lonely out here. Just our mics.
And us too. I'm tired of this, man. My God, please. Oh Allah, take me now. No, don't take me. No, don't say I mean to that.
I got him back, guys. Look at that. Talking all that smack.
Yeah, but cool. Again, guys, reach out to us. We want to talk with you guys. Yeah. We got some exciting times coming this Ramadan. We're super excited. Make sure you guys make your intentions to fast this Ramadan. Pray that you can actually make it this Ramadan, and make dua for all those people who were not able to make it the Ramadan, that thought they were going to be able to make it. Make dua for us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? For just I don't know, whatever you want, make dua for us or the platform. If you don't really like us, but you like the podcast, like make dua for the podcast, that the equipment stays up. I don't know.
And make dua for people that can do something similar to what we're doing, or yourself.
Or yourself, yeah. Or we got a lot of people that actually hit us and they want to know like how to do what we're doing. We're very open. Like there's no secrets here. Secrets. We want you guys to feel extremely open that if you can't talk to somebody, then you guys can always reach to us.
It's in the Krusty Krab, you know what I mean?
Krusty Krab formula. We'll give it to you, Plankton. It's all good. So with that, my name is Jabril Salam.
This is Muhammad Hassan.
And we greet you with the greens of peace.
As-salaamu
Alaikum.
Ma salama. Goodbye.